Monorail.
What you say?
What you say?
Monorail.
What you say?
Monorail.
Mono.
Go.
You're so stupid. Oh, my God.
Dude, we really broke out in song.
Oh, dear God. Well, I mean, we did the other guys last week.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks in a row.
That's 2 weeks
I
in a
like
row we
it.
sing. What's going on, everybody? This is Zach from the Weird Los Angeles Hockey Club podcast.
You said it right.
I did say it right this time. Right? I'm really glad you can join us. This is Zach.
This is Dave.
Robert.
And Wally.
We're
Beautiful pipes, Wally, by the way. It was really nice.
It's all pipes. What's the difference?
once again, Katie.
Once again,
staring-
Seinfeld reference. There you go,
We're
Katie.
staring. Our eyes are glossed over. If you haven't already, check us out on Twitter. Follow us at We Are LAHC. Also on Facebook, you can find us the We Are Los Angeles Hockey Club.
We have to take a moment,
Oh, yeah.
somber moment, to
Oh, yeah.
RIP Grandstand Sports Network.
It's,
Unfortunately, Chad sent out the mass email saying that they're shutting down operations, so it's unfortunate, but
Yeah, so
we still have SoundCloud.
Yeah, we do have SoundCloud. So to
Definitely
begin the
have a
podcast, Robert's long-awaited article will have to come at a different time. Maybe he'll just post a Word document.
It might be like
WordPress document?
it might be just be like a series of 45 tweets. So keep your eyes out for that.
be a large
that's
thread.
actually- Then Wally's long-awaited part 3 on
the coach rejuvenation.
yeah, dude. The rejuvenation, man. We've all been
Hey,
waiting.
Toffoli's got 24 goals. I mean, hey, that's
There it is.
better
You
than
just
he had
wrote it.
last year,
The
right?
long
So
anticipated third part.
it was a wait and see.
Hey-o.
I think I'm gonna have to go back and say I was wrong about being wrong about Kempe, dude. I'm gonna have to take that back.
Taking it back to episode 1.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
20
granted,
games.
yeah.
Zach, 20 games Dustin.
I wish that was my my middle name.
Yeah, right.
No, not really.
No.
So we're kind of counting on the Ducks over the weekend to beat out on the Avs, beat them in regulation, because that would.
Well,
be
that depends on point of view.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're like me, I know you are, Zach, about the wanting to play Vegas in
Yeah.
the first round. But if you're like Robert, who wants to play San Jose first round, then that was the Ducks winning was not good. But
I just want to get in.
Yeah,
I just want to get in.
Okay.
I don't
the
care who
sooner,
we're
the
playing.
sooner the
Yeah,
better
the
to
sooner
clinch
better.
for me. But I mean, I definitely agree with you wanting to play Vegas first, but they couldn't seal it in regulation, and then Avs come they make the long trip into LA.
and we punk them. I mean, it was the biggest game of
Basically.
the year, and we showed up. And
So you put 2 of the Hart finalists in a game, our perceived Hart finalists, Nathan McKinnon versus Andrzej Kopitar, and once again, Kopi just
Sheer domination.
yeah.
McKinnon played that game.
Yeah.
I didn't really notice.
the only time I noticed him was when he took that penalty.
He was trying so hard to get away from Kopitar that he kept running into Brown.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Brown being with
On
Kopi,
that top
man.
line, yeah.
I really do. I really love that because if you get away from
If only we
Kopitar,
had an Evander Kane on that top line left. I know. It's
I mean, that would be nice too, but
The
Go on,
price was
go
a little
on.
too high.
yeah. Well, no, not
no,
really.
it's not at all.
It's
Wasn't
not
even a
guaranteed
first
to
No,
be.
I know, but whatever.
So you had I can't remember his name now. Nathan McKinnon, yeah, because he wasn't very noticeable in that game. But he had him going up against Andrzej Kopitar, and once again, Kopi shut him down. I mean, granted, in Colorado, he scored 4 goals. And stuff,
Yeah.
Now,
but
here's the thing about McKinnon. Is he playing himself out of the Hart Trophy contention? I mean, even if they make the playoffs, I mean, he's got no goals in his last 8, only 2 points in his last 6 games.
Maybe getting a little tired towards the end of the season.
His production kind of dried up when
Yeah.
he needed it
when
most.
they need exactly.
But I mean, I know,
oh yeah, no, I think
Guys like Giroux are stepping up. Guys, I mean, Kopitar, like you just said, and
even old boy over there, and I had him on my mind right now. Now I can't remember what it
Taylor
was.
Hall.
Taylor Hall.
Taylor
Yeah.
Hall's. I guess he's in the mix.
Has to be in the mix.
Oh, he's in the mix for sure. I mean, I think it's Devils are basically they won again tonight.
Yeah.
They throttled the Rangers, and they only a 5-2 final, and it was. But I mean, that's they're all but in. Florida's still hanging around, but I think ultimately
They had a
New
win
Jersey
tonight too,
gets in.
right?
Yeah, on another controversial goal interference call, but.
I don't know, man.
Anyway,
Victor Arvidsson did kind of churn Roberto Luongo, and the puck got free because of it. You have a bias because he's Swedish, but
No. I like I said, all I said was a controversial goalie interference call. So it is what it is. I don't know.
do you agree with it?
I didn't see the replay, to be honest with you. No, I didn't.
Victor Arvidsson clearly.
No, I heard it. I
spins
heard it on
around
the radio driving down here that they were saying like everybody their lead in on the ice cap with Nick Alberga was like, oh, what is goalie interference? And he was talking about how that it was a questionable call, and
Roberto Luongo had it frozen under his pad, and Arvidsson churns him, and because he churns him, the puck gets unwedged and loose.
Oh, so he did a Justin Williams on Alex Stalock in Game 6 in 2014 in the first round.
That honestly, that's what it looked like to me. So I mean, I can kind of agree with it.
No, I'll check it out right now.
So because of that game on Monday, and this is from Alex Faust. Take it any way
Mr. Natural Hat Trick himself.
any way you would like. Take it any way you would like. But
Alex,
Can we just settle this right now?
Can we settle this right now? It is not a natural hat trick. I've heard two different definitions, and one of them, the main one, is 3 goals in a row by one person and nobody else on either team scores.
Yeah,
that did not
between,
happen.
yeah.
The other definition I've heard is 3 goals by one player in one period. That also did not happen with Jeff Carter. So, Alex, sorry.
Although clearly the first definition
Alex
is
Faust.
right.
Alec Faust.
Alex.
But according to him, if the Blues lose, I said that right too.
man.
If the Blues lose,
Blues Clues.
lose tomorrow, then Kings automatically clinch a playoff.
Well, let's go Blackhawks.
Let's get it over with. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's have
I'm
2
with-
free games.
Please.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice. Go
Are
to
they
the playoffs
playing
a little
it
rested.
tomorrow? Is it in St. Louis?
Tomorrow's in St.
It's
Louis.
a home and home, right?
And it's a home and home. So the next.
And then they got Colorado last game. I don't like Chicago's chances in St. Louis tomorrow night.
Neither do I, but we'll see what happens.
I didn't like St. Louis's odds in Arizona either.
Right.
That was 6-0, 5-0.
6-0
Blackhawks are
in
going to do it
Arizona.
for us. I don't know why.
You feel it?
I feel it. I feel
You
good.
feel it down in your plums?
All the way down.
Bluish hue.
They're bluish hue. Gonna take them out to market.
Sun just dancing right off him.
I said, let the
Hey.
boy watch.
Hey, here's a quote.
Oh, no.
The latest quote from Patrick Kane. And he said this to Mark Lazarus of the Chicago Sun-Times. It'd be nice to see them miss the playoffs, talking about the Blues. So it would be nice to have a hand in that. So, yeah, Patrick Kane, there you go. Have your hand
A motivated.
in there.
Let's be careful where we tell them.
I don't think I've ever heard you laugh like that.
Yeah, we peaked hard right now. I saw that.
It's
It wasn't even red anymore.
like
It was
George
purple.
Costanza's showmanship. Leave on that high note. Good night, everybody.
We peaked hard. Like, it wasn't even red. It was purple.
That's gonna get edited.
I don't know how to.
Me either.
No, we're going to keep the flow going.
And once again, like, you know, everybody who's given us the feedback of it being quiet and so on and so forth, we're trying so worth. So, can't talk right now. But we are trying a couple different things out tonight, see if we can get that sound a little bit better for you guys.
Experimental podcast.
So
Jazz fusion.
Thursday the Kings have Minnesota. Saturday we have Dallas. Both of them, Minnesota and Dallas, will be on the second night of their back-to-back with Anaheim, which is in our favor.
We're getting Minnesota's second goalie, Stalock,
Alex Stalock. I mean,
for what it's worth.
He may shut us out. Who knows?
Kari Lehtinen was pulled tonight for Dallas.
he was
letting in too many goals.
And this guy,
There
Mike McKenna,
You're
came
welcome.
in, and they came back and got the win. So
Did they get the win?
In regulation, 4-2. Jamie Beck
Oh,
got a
because
hat
Bishop's
trick.
out too.
Bishop
huh?
is out
I forgot
too.
about that.
Well, that's not surprising.
I
Hey.
mean, Blake looks like a genius now, dude. What was that? A third-round pick for Bishop?
I thought it was
Fourth
a
or
fifth round pick because
He was
fourth round
expiring.
pick was the bar with Darling in
Yeah.
Carolina. Man,
That's true.
If only Darling would have stayed in Chicago, that would have solved a lot with Crawford being out pretty much the whole year.
So it
But,
would be. It would
Yeah, you're saying
definitely
back to
be
back
nice.
Stalock.
Definitely be nice to get the win against Minnesota and also just win out the rest of the season. If the Kings win,
I mean,
They're-
that's what you want to ultimately
if we
do at
win
the end
out
of the
and,
season.
and San Jose loses one of their next two, I mean, we have the tie.
we're theoretically in second place, right?
I'm gonna double check the
Don't we have, like,
ROWs,
a
but I
tiebreaker
believe we have it in
against-
hand over them. Yeah, we have 42, and they have 39. So no matter what,
We would be second place
we
then
would
at
be
that
second
point.
place if we win both, and they win one of the two. So,
But then we would still get San Jose or Anaheim.
well, yeah,
I'm
It's true. Let's get it over with first round.
No.
Let's do it.
no.
Hey, home ice.
So then, I mean, that kind of leads us into likely first round matchups.
well,
So
it's
you-
down to 3 teams. It's either going to be San Jose, it's either going to be Nashville, or it's either going to be Vegas.
You guys
I mean,
are hard.
in my
on-
order.
Vegas.
Yeah, on
I would
Vegas.
rather have Vegas than San Jose than Nashville. Avoid Nashville. At all
Anyone
costs,
but Nashville for sure.
Yeah,
Like,
anyone but Nashville for sure. Yeah, I believe. I'm with you on that.
I still take San Jose. I don't know. Gut feeling.
But what makes you say that though?
Just the styles. If Vegas is skating at that speed that they can skate at, we don't have that speed.
That's true.
Are they going to do it? Who knows? Do they have the experience? Not as a team. But they have some speed that we can't match. That's my one and only platform I can stand on. But
You've
I'm gonna
got
I'm gonna
Toby-
stay there.
I'll raise you a Toby Reader.
We can.
Yeah.
One or two guys can
Can't
hang. I don't know.
I like our chances against them, man. I really
Why?
do. I honestly think like a faster, more skilled team like that can't keep that up for 4 wins in a row against one single team, especially against a team that holds on to the puck as much as the Kings do, and as much as much as the Kings.
that, and it's playoffs. Referees will let a lot of things go too. So you just
You can clutch a little more. You can get away with a little
know
baby
like
hook
that
here and
little
there.
extra hook.
Yeah.
Hit at the end. After the guy releases the puck. Those things kind of take your toll. And if these
That
guys
you're
are
saying that may play in our favor if we do play
Yes.
them in the first round.
that could play in our favor. So
Yeah, they've
we
gone
knocked them
downhill
around.
since they got Reeves too.
yeah.
We've just not, like
I just feel like, how are you gonna have the puck if these guys are skating up and down with it the entire game and you can't keep up with these dudes?
That's a good point.
because as soon
Like,
as
how
the
do you
Kings
play your game at that point?
as soon as the Kings get the puck, they're not giving it back. You know what I
Well,
mean?
they're a hard forechecking team, and that's been one of our weaknesses. It hasn't been as apparent lately. I don't know if that's personnel. I don't know if that's coaching. I don't know if that's people wearing out. But if they play with that speed and they forecheck, I don't know.
Scary, man.
It
That
scares
could
me.
be real quick. Yeah, I'm with them on that.
You think that they can keep that up for 4 games?
They've kept it up
In a
for a
row.
whole season.
Yeah,
More-
it's totally
more or
justifiable
less.
to think that way.
But that's
They did
but,
blow a 3-goal lead to Vancouver tonight. They were up 4-1, and it was 4-4 going into.
Ouch.
But how many points
They
did Nick
wanted
Dowd
to shoot
have?
out tonight too.
But here's the thing that I think the Kings
Chiefs fan
have.
39 shots tonight.
Here's the one thing that the Kings have that I don't think that they have is the wherewithal in the playoffs to be able to adjust your game plan and to be able to figure out how a player plays, especially going into the playoffs. Everybody plays differently when it's in the playoffs. Everybody seems to elevate their games a little bit more. But
I just don't think the Kings can rest on their laurels, like based off like experience. You know what I mean? Like they.
Well, and you also have a coach who, although he was involved in our past playoff years, he wasn't the guy, And Gallant's been the guy. He has as much experience as Stevens. He has more,
Hey, Stevens was our head coach for 4 games in the year we won the cup. So
We should have cut him off at 4 this year.
I don't think a lot of people.
Well,
according to Michael Arcieniga had his way, we'd be hiring Joe Quenneville in the offseason even if he's not leaving Chicago.
If Quenneville's available.
if Quenneville's available, he's the one guy I would take.
I'm still cool with Stevens even at that point, man.
Stevens has
Speaking
like
of
a really
Stevens.
horrible start to next season, and Coach Q is available. I don't see why we don't explore that.
Oh, he wouldn't be though. He wouldn't be available
true.
at that
This
point.
is also
I think
very
Stevens
bad.
might actually get some Jack Adams
Praise.
consideration. Like, I don't think he'll win it. Like, I think you got Gerard Gallant and then
and Bednar.
Bednar.
Bednar would win it if it wasn't for Vegas. I almost
Right.
think it's more of an accomplishment to turn around that dud
Second
of a
half.
season. Like
48
that
points.
season last year was so bad, and that culture was just pervasive with losing. And then you sell at the beginning of the year, and you either make the playoffs or lose in the last week. Pretty crazy.
I think they all would have signed
Can
up
you
for that.
imagine
you know
this
what I
team
mean?
if Matt Duchene would have just been like, yeah, sure, I'll play. Like, that's what they need right now, that second-line center to anchor it. And
Yeah, they got Soderberg playing second line center. He's more of a third line
yeah,
center.
exactly. He's a third-line guy. And
Oh no! Second line they were running Kerfoot.
Well, yeah, Kerfoot, but I'm just saying, he's
Kerfoot?
not Matt
Kerfoot?
Duchene yet.
No, he's not.
And yeah, because they did try Soderberg, and then it's just like, yeah, then you slide Kerfoot in there to try and just be like, all right, let's do it, and then.
I would definitely. I mean, I agree.
And
with you.
now it's like he said he wanted to win, and then he left, and then sure enough, the other team is.
He left
Shit
like
me
the
bad.
worst run team in the NHL and joined the new worst run team in the NHL.
Team in the NHL. Absolutely.
Yeah, Ottawa completely shit the bed this year. I mean, that's a different.
Did you see Carlson taking the puck after his last home game, just in
Hey, on a
case?
6-5 loss.
Oh, really? He did?
Yeah, he's not going to play for family reasons for the rest of the season, but
I don't
so
blame
that
him.
might be his last game.
That's a terrible thing to go through, man. I don't wish that on anybody.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah. Sending our love and positive thoughts out to Erik Karlsson and his wife at this time. You know, I think everybody knows what happened, so I don't think we gave it any love last week, but, you know, definitely sending positive thoughts out to them. It's a terrible thing to go through.
Speaking of awards, Norris Trophy consideration. I mean, I think it's Hedman personally. Doughty will be nominated. Doughty should be nominated.
Absolutely, yeah.
Doughty's finishing second or third or maybe fourth, right?
We will get to Drew Doughty because that's an argument in itself. If you haven't followed Victor Hedman at all this season, he has 16 goals and 61 points. He's a plus 30 on the year, averaging about 26 minutes on the ice. He's at 25-47. So, you know, he's I mean, look at the year Tampa has had. You know, they've been. I mean, they kind of went on a little bit of a dip. What was that? End of last month.
Well, they bounced back tonight, though. The biggest game of the year without Stamkos, basically, you know, for the division.
Yeah,
and
Bruins brought it back a little bit,
and they shut out Bruins 4-0 tonight. So that was pretty much a statement they needed to make. And I know Hedman got a goal in that game.
Yeah, he did.
But you know, Doughty, it's his career high in points tied, so he'll probably with one more point he'll pass it. That's probably going to happen. And
my elbow's getting no love.
Elbow.
Yeah, that's not like it hurt.
That's like the third time I've hit my elbow on someone. It's not getting no love tonight.
No.
Drew Doughty, 10 goals, 59 points. He's plus 25 on the season. He's averaging 26-49, so he basically has a minute on Victor Hedman. But all right, let's get into it then.
You made an interesting argument against his.
Honestly, like the only reason why I really see Doughty not getting the Norris is because of his on-ice attitude. I was going to say attitude, but
that's the attitude.
His on-ice attitude is really.
I think that's silly to take that into consideration, by the way.
It's been on display this season, like really bad, man.
I don't think it's because he nominally has an attitude. I think it's the effect the attitude has had. Like, it's had real effects on the ice. I mean, he shunned his captain, Kopitar. He exacerbated or cost us that game against Chicago, and it's having an effect on the ice.
I knew it would make Dave mad.
Sorry.
And me and Robert just stare at you guys like, what are you guys talking about?
It's a stupid like YouTube clip with unicorns. Anyway,
very good.
We digest.
Yeah.
I think we need to start publishing references at the end for any time Wally brings something up.
Where we make it.
We're gonna have like a
timestamp and a reference, and
we're gonna have a works cited page at the end of these, so you can find them on the internet. We'll provide the link and the date and time. Okay.
Sounds good.
As you were.
Sorry, dude.
What were you?
That's all.
Dave laughed.
I think
Dave get
his attitude problems have had on ice effect this year, and I don't think you can rule it out. And I think Hedman, I mean, he's probably the one guy to take over Doughty.
Yeah,
maybe it's a toss up, but
we have too many lefties. First of all,
yeah.
Oh, okay,
absolutely.
Adjusted for handedness,
too many lefties
but
later. That's for sure.
I just don't think
there were too many times I look back at this season being frustrated with Doughty, and I can't tell myself that he was the best defenseman in the NHL. This season.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Top 5 for sure. Maybe most talented, probably. Was he the Norris?
But see,
not for me.
But see, that's where I think Victor Hedman is really good, man, because he's like a Drew Doughty in the fact that he plays really good defense, but then he's also pretty good on the offensive side of the puck. You know, another name that may be in there, maybe Brent Burns, minus 17 on the season.
I don't even know. I don't understand how that's
even
how you even get nominated for your defenseman.
Well,
and you're a minus. Would you say 17?
Minus 17, but he has 63. He has 63 points, man.
So you take the good with the bad, I guess. But Norris Trophy candidate, I think that's a bit.
This is a topic that Wally has brought up on the We Are Los Angeles Hockey Club page.
You got to follow that.
You got to follow that because I mean we do have pretty decent discussions about things other than Kings hockey, but talking about having what?
What did you say?
I said talking about other things than Kings hockey.
Oh, that's not what I heard. But
what did
we'll
I
go
say?
back.
No,
that's what you said.
That's what I heard.
I heard something else.
Never mind. Continue.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on right now.
I don't know what
I was confused
No,
to know
the Bobby Orr Award, the best offensive
Best
defenseman.
offensive defenseman. Then you can have guys like
Brent Burns
or
with
Erik
atrocious
Karlsson,
plus minuses.
Troy Stetcher, Torrey Krug. I don't know. I was just thinking of like offensive defensemen.
I like Stetcher. I don't know.
He's small, but yeah, I do too. So I mean, honestly, you've heard it on every like Kings talking head talking about Doughty getting the Norris, but I think for sure it goes to
hear
Hedman.
some guys. Yeah, I think Doughty will get. It won't be unanimous. I think Doughty will get some votes, but yeah, I'm okay with either. I mean, Hedman, a Swede, obviously.
I'm definitely going to bat for Kopitar for Hart and Selke before I'm stumping for Doughty for Norris. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Sure. Well, Selke for sure.
Yeah.
I thought we were only going to do one of those, but
No.
Let's get into it because I want.
I'm just saying I'm not that passionate about Norris or Doughty for Norris just because.
Before we talk about the Selke. I honestly think that if Doughty doesn't win Norris this season, I think next season he's going to come back, and I think you might see a different player because I think
next year it's going to be
contract year.
He's going to want to go. I mean, we're going to want to go all in for
Drew Doughty.
Like it'll be our last kind of run with this core. I think
we got a year
before
or two
changes. More. No, I think it's this year and next year, and then because once Doughty's contract kicks in, we have to
move Marty and Toffoli or something.
I personally would just buy out Phaneuf and. I would do that.
He's a power play specialist.
I
don't know if we can do
that.
but
$5.25 million power play specialist,
and then the buyout is I think
$4 million.
It's not a pretty buyout.
It's just under $4 million that we'd save, and for this year and next year, according to Cap Friendly. And the only year it would hurt us is in year 3 years after this offseason, and that's future Ted's problem.
So who would you nominate for Selke? Obviously Andre Kopitar.
Bergeron. I didn't
suspects.
know we were going to talk about Selke this year.
Bergeron's been injured.
This year, though.
Bergeron's been injured.
I think that's why I think
Kopitar's run away with it, right?
You would have to assume that's his award to lose.
I honestly think so.
You look at penalty kill, ice time. You look at his offensive numbers, even though you're not supposed to. He's got face-offs. He's got zone starts. Whatever you want.
Face-offs and clutch moments.
I do want to give a shout out to Robert though for kind of having the argument.
All arguments.
Yeah, for Kopi for Hart before Jesse Cohen did.
We hear you, Jesse.
Hey, Jesse. Thanks for listening, buddy.
We really appreciate it, man. If you could just throw our names out there, we'd appreciate that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I mean,
saying stuff.
We're yes.
Literally, it was like almost word for word, but whatever.
I know.
I bet really was almost word for word.
I bet you Robert had the biggest boner in the world when he was
washing dishes, listening, and I was like, "What?
Is that Robert talking?"
That's literally what Robert said yesterday.
I'm having a flashback into like Robert's apartment, dude. Listening to this, I thought I was having like an acid flashback.
Oh no, out of body experience.
All right, so should we get to the signings? Because we didn't touch on that.
Or injuries.
Oh,
one or the other.
Injuries kind of can play into like playoff talk, man. I mean, like that's tough, man. That is really tough, dude. Losing Muzzin is week to week. Last week of the season, we don't know where he's gonna be at next season when the playoffs or next week when the new season starts. But that is big, man. Losing Muzzin week to week like that. I don't think
it's as big as a deal that like everybody's making it out to be. I in the offseason, it's no secret, I wanted to trade him for a bona fide 30-goal scorer or somebody that could help us out. I suggested Adam Henrique, something like that, and Henrique ended up going to the Ducks instead. But
he's had a decent season.
It was just looking at the core that we had on defense, and then it's like the question is who do you replace him with? And I said I maintain I was comfortable with the six that we had. It was like it was Forbert, Doughty, and then it would have been Gravel, Ledoux,
and McDermott.
And no, I didn't even consider McDermott. I said Martinez and Folin, and then third pair Gravel, Ledoux. And that six is basically now we have Phaneuf in the mix.
Oh man, that's bad. That was down the wrong pipe. Sorry, but.
But
right?
you know, and I still maintain that. Like if we were to get a really good deal for someone of Muzzin, I mean, I know you guys are shaking your heads.
The reason why I think it's a big deal is because if you put us up against a team like Vegas first round, Muzzin is a great skater. He's known to be a good skater, man. So I mean, you need that kind of skater against Vegas. So that's why I think it's a bigger deal losing him, just because Vegas skates really well.
I mean, you look at how many goals we've given up in the games that he's been gone. I think Wally mentioned it earlier.
What, 5 in 3 games? We're 2-0-1.
But I mean, I think the big point is 3 games. I think long term we're not better. We're not.
Are small sample size. I see you, Dennis.
I don't think I think we're better with him. You know, I'd rather sit.
Oh yes.
I'd sit Marty or Phaneuf over I sat Martinez. You know, off season I'd rather move Marty. Well, I think Muzzin, same money, younger, better.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think Muzzin's return, is going to be way bigger.
For those reasons, he gets better return.
A season or two ago, I would have argued that I think Martinez had the better shot, but I think Muzzin has the better shot now, man.
Well, yeah, he is younger, and
Marty's racking up those miles in block shots too. We've said it before.
No, it's like like the Charleston. I mean, pretty much after
he's going to have hip dysplasia pretty soon, like a German Shepherd.
But so if we have Forbert not skating, Muzzin skating a little bit.
Oh yeah, Forbert was injured in the Colorado game.
Yeah, he played just under 2 minutes and
Marty played 32 minutes.
Was one of the questions in the game day thread, was it time on ice?
It was all about Forbert, right?
Yeah, it was all about
Forbert. I don't know if it was TOI though.
I wonder if anybody got that.
It was shots and block shots and I don't know.
I can't remember all the way. But yeah, Forbert out there today.
Yeah, it's finally like he just turned a corner. He was like a completely different defenseman in those the 7 games when Kings were 4-1-2.
He shaved a little weight off his ear, right?
Off his ear. But I mean, you look at his giveaways per 60. They were over 3, which is atrocious. And then in those 7 games, it was down to 1.85, which is really good. And
I actually did want to say this. I was thinking about it last night before I went to bed, thinking about the podcast. When I saw that skate going into his ear, the first reaction that came to mind was, no, he wasn't ready. It was just, I couldn't.
That was most of his ear. A good part of it.
I couldn't watch that, man.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Makes me want to Ralph.
But no, well, anyway, so since I touched on the giveaways per 60, I should elaborate more. So I kind of came up with a system because you can't really just compare the raw total number of giveaways from one person to another, because obviously somebody like Doughty, who plays a lot of minutes, is going to have more than someone like Christian Foley, for example.
Absolutely.
So it's like, but when you get down to it, so you do giveaways per 60 minutes because it's a 60-minute game. You kind of want to have anywhere around 2 is good. 2 to 2.3 is still kind of relatively good. And anything over that is pretty bad, and something like 3 is really bad. So anyway, so Doughty is about 2. Doughty and Muzzin are both 2.21. So the way the style they play, the offensive style, you can live with that because these don't differentiate offensive and defensive zone. But Martinez is 2.73. I mean that's we touched upon this. He's on the right side. He does a lot of bad giveaways when he's on his, backhand getting pressured. Phaneuf, 1.82. That's good. I mean, granted, he doesn't have the puck a lot because he just kind of wants to get it out. But Forbert is high, 2.92. But like I said, it was above 3, and then it got to 1.85 the last 7 games. So that ear shave is good. And Christian Folin, 1.83. Ledoux, 1.56. Gravel, 1.45. These are depth defensemen, and yet they're taking care of the puck. So that's, exactly what we want. And that's kind of another reason why I think it's if we were to lose Muzzin, obviously we don't want to just trade him for a pick or prospect, right. But we want to get full value in return. But, I'm comfortable. That's why I said I'm comfortable with if we were to lose him. I think we're still in good hands.
I'd miss his Amish beard, man.
That's a good beard. But your argument is sound for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
the depth is there, but then for us to go and look for something where we need to have a need.
But then again, though, I'm going to do a Dennis Bernstein here and sample size, man. I'm like on Gravel and Ledoux. I mean, that's a small
Well, I think you also, for those two guys specifically, you have to factor in zone starts and quality of competition a little bit. But it's still, I mean, when you're watching them, they make better passes.
They do.
They do. It's evident.
No, they absolutely do.
Well, I think
Ledoux.
Ledoux.
We've been obviously with Ledoux in the lineup. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. Where, when we have 3 righties, 3 lefties, there you go.
I don't know.
So if we're going to the
6,
playoffs,
2, and 1.
Going to the playoffs, if we're down Forbert and Muzzin, how confident are you in our decor?
Hold on, I actually wanted to say this about Ledoux, man. I wasn't against Colorado, especially against they're a smaller team. I felt like Ledoux was kind of pushed around, like pushed off the puck a lot. I wasn't very impressed with him in that game. I mean,
I agree. Like he was like, I mean, he's losing those puck battles, but I mean, I think that comes with time. If you would have given him the games that we gave McDermott,
34 games.
I can't believe I went to bat for him for a sec there.
We need an enforcer, bro. You need somebody out there like to fight
it's just
somebody.
Like, there's sequences where it's like,
what happened to the?
You can
I like
see,
old
like,
school
I went
hockey.
to the game and
Stupid.
the Colorado guys, like you can clearly see what he's trying to do, and Ledoux's right there in the position, so the guy has to course correct. And there were some that he was getting a lot of bad bounces,
but
he made
for
some
the
good
most part,
reads.
like his hockey IQ is just so strong, and
he's super poised. Like we
saw,
him
even the other
camp, and he's like that.
I mean, there was one sequence where the puck went right by the net. He cleared it right to the glass, and then what he did afterwards was Matt Nieto was in front of the net, and he just
he's from Long Beach, right?
Long Beach.
Where's he from again?
Long Beach.
I don't know.
Strong Beach. What?
I've never heard that before. Don't understand that.
I did not know that. And basically he recognizes that the puck was going to the point, and then the guy was going to shoot, so he just pushes Nieto out of the way. So Jonathan Quick has a clear vision. He's not screened, and he made an easy save. And
I mean, he has some good reads, man. But
that's why you have to balance the pairs. I mean, I think Ledoux and Phaneuf on paper, it's not that bad. You have a lighter puck-moving guy, and you have a guy who's a little heavier. He's not as good with the puck. He's not as quick, so they can kind of balance each other out.
I think what's really good about that pairing, though, is both of them get the puck out of the zone quick. I mean, that's the one thing I really like about Phaneuf is he's always looking to get rid of the puck.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's he knows his limitations, and so does Stevens, and that's why he's getting mainly offensive zone starts. And
I've liked everything he's brought to the table so far.
You haven't been thoroughly disappointed.
Nah, I don't like everything, but he does whiff on a lot of hits, and then
he's been better than I thought he was going to be.
Yes,
yeah, I thought it was going to be pretty
good.
But
I mean, I don't know. I think he whiffed on a hit last night that was,
it was egregious.
but it didn't lead to anything, so it didn't stick out that bad. But also, Alex Iafallo.
Well, it did on their power play goal. I mean, that was definitely on him.
I think since Alex Iafallo has been out, Kopi doesn't have a goal or an assist since Iafallo's been out. So was that 2 games?
I think he grabbed an assist, but point taken, the offense has kind of dried up a little bit.
It looked like even last night in the 3-1 win, it just looked like Iafallo was clearly missing because he kind of makes his own breaks, so to speak, for the team, and it was just like nobody could really do that. Like really against the Ducks, I mean, Doughty, other than Doughty, that game was just pretty much Iafallo was that. As Robert says, the engine that drives that line, and it was apparent with him being out that we needed somebody to step up, and no one has yet.
Oh, I beg to differ with Kyle Clifford, man. Kyle Clifford has been
in a top 6 role.
Kyle Clifford has been a man incensed,
a man enraged.
Yeah, he's insane with anger.
Yep.
He's insane.
I'll agree with that.
I mean, that wraparound last night. He's been really he's really been strong on the puck, like in the zone.
Puck hungry.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that Pearson's been bad on Kopi's line. It's just I don't think Pearson's as quick as Iafallo, and Iafallo is just a bloodhound for that puck, man. The puck is always around him, and he's always getting to it. I mean,
I think he doesn't fit the need that the line has. I mean, Kopitar wants to pass, and he's going to shoot some, and Brown's going to shoot. And so you need someone out there just kind of causing havoc, stealing pucks back, making plays happen.
Like what Justin Williams would do.
Justin Williams and Iafallo, even a Reader at times with his speed is making things happen like that. And Pearson is a good player, maybe not a fit for the role that's made that line work this year.
Yeah,
Or
I
maybe
agree.
not a fit for the
That's
team
fair.
long term.
I think that's also fair.
Yeah, and I think that's fair as well, actually, him or Toffoli. But we digest.
I think more Pearson than Toffoli, but whatever.
Clearly Clifford has been playing really, really well. You kind of have to look to him these next couple of games, especially if Iafallo is going to be out. Clifford was actually skating with Kopi and Brown, I think, at practice, and I think he did for a little bit against the Ducks. And he didn't. I mean, he's been kind of bouncing up and down the lineup a little bit, but even when he's with Kopi and Brown, I mean, he's up against the boards in the gritty areas, making things happen. So, some big signings.
Was that Michael Mersch call up, right?
Just too slow. Man. It's just too slow.
Hey, he got his call up.
Yeah.
He is really slow.
Well, yeah.
Michael Mercia.
Oh, yeah.
He's not very fleet of foot.
Brick for skates.
Daniel Brickley, not to be confused with Connor Brickley
Very easy to confuse.
of the Panthers. No, he was, Minnesota State?
Minnesota State, kind of a lot of people said he was the top undrafted guy available.
40 games with Minnesota State. He had 10 goals, 25 assists for 35 points. Plus 16. Not bad, man.
One of the interesting things I thought was when he was discussing his recruitment and reasons why he signed and kind of the power of having two Hall of Fame players sitting across the table saying, we want you on our team. That's
and
pretty
a
insane.
defenseman
Yeah.
at that, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Hall of Fame defenseman at that.
If you're a defenseman and you see Blake wanting you, Doughty could be teaching you in a couple games, that's pretty tough to turn down.
No. And with you have to think the one thing that kind of sets Lombardi
It's another example of the depth that I've been saying, that I said or touched on earlier about that we have, and
you can definitely
get
see the
somebody else in
difference
the mix,
between Blake and Lombardi because Blake is telling him you're going to have a fair shot at making this team out of camp or even through practices. You know what I mean? He has to be telling them that.
Well, yeah, I mean, just look at it.
Well, I would imagine there'd be
I
some
follow.
sort of assurance. Yeah, I follow. So
Yeah, it's not just words. It's like, hey, we started this guy game one on the first line, and he stayed there majority of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And
made that line successful
Yeah.
by filling a role that probably a lot of other guys on that team, like you said, can't fill.
So then another interesting college UFA signing that we had was Sheldon Rempel from Clarkson University.
I've never heard of Clarkson University.
Kelly Clarkson.
I think Clarkson is
I've
upstate
never
New
heard of
York,
Clarkson
isn't it?
either.
I think Clarkson.
Don't look at me. I
I think Dave Taylor went there.
The
I
one
didn't know that.
The one
but
thing you don't have, Wally, you don't know where Clarkson is.
I'm pretty sure I read that it was upstate New York. We're terrible for not knowing that.
Sure.
39 games played with Clarkson University. Had 23 goals, 23 assists, 46 points. Not bad.
yes, Potsdam, New York. So it is upstate. Okay.
Oh, right.
There it is.
Very nice. His coach is on record saying that the kid is just quick, has incredible hands, and has a nose for the net. So, that was we were kind of touching on that. I absolutely love the fact that college free agents are actually giving us a shot now.
I love that
Well,
we're
that
giving
would
them a
not
shot
happen.
too.
Yeah,
You know?
me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I mean, it's an exciting time right now to be thinking about the prospects that we have coming up in the pipeline. You haven't really been able to.
And quality.
Yeah,
prospects.
that's what I mean. Yeah, quality.
Yeah, because that
Well-
was our one weakness was wing depth in the organization, as Robert has touched on several times.
We were just talking about Michael Mersch. I mean, 2 years ago, what was he? The 1 or 2 on our prospect chart. And
Something like that.
admittedly, we were weak, but it's kind of come a long way.
The cupboard is not as barren as it once was.
Yeah.
After this draft, it'll be even better, and next year we'll make a run. We're going to go all in next year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Ultimately, those are all assets, and those assets will become
But I think
a trade or they'll become successful.
I think when you
players.
look at
it's
these
very
signings,
interesting.
though, with Daniel Brickley and Sheldon Rempel, you kind of see the route that we're slowly going towards, and that's more skilled, less. I mean, Daniel Brickley is known to be more offensive-minded defenseman.
But he's a big kid. And,
He's 6'3".
Yeah, the highlights that I've seen, he can throw the body around. A little
Yeah, he
bit.
can. But he's a little bit more fleet of foot, and he's also has a better shot.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were to start him over Phaneuf the next game, I wouldn't hate it.
Especially if we clinch tomorrow.
Even if
why
we
not?
don't.
That kind of ties us into a member question from Stu Berto. Does Brickley play if Kings clinch tomorrow?
I don't see why not.
If they clinch, I think he will play.
give him ice time like with Doughty or something like that.
If we clinch, here's what I hope. I hope he plays, but I hope it's not at the expense of Gravel or Ledoux. They need to get back up to speed because both these guys have roles for us in the playoffs. So I'd like to see them. You know, I wouldn't even mind calling up Fantenberg and getting Brickley and Fantenberg into a game or two. You can rest Phaneuf and Martinez. I mean, they're older guys. They've proved what they need to prove.
Depth in the playoffs. That's why you see it was like, you know, the Penguins last year with Mark Strait. He was their 9th defenseman, and then he got into a game in the you know, finals. And it's just like we need
these guys here. We need them up to speed. And I mean, Doughty's not going to sit for a game as rest, but some of these other guys, if we can get.
Especially Muzzin out week to week. Don't know exactly how long Forbert's going to be out.
Gravel's played 3 games in the last 2 months or something. You know, he's got to get up to speed.
Mm-hmm. He does. Because last game he was in, he didn't look the greatest. I was kind of sad because I'm a real big Gravel advocate.
Yeah,
I would prefer him over Forbert any days, but you know they
prefer him over Phaneuf.
Yeah,
me too.
Another member submitted question. Thanks to Steven
Ferraccioli.
Do the Kings let Fulham walk? This is a two-parter, actually.
It is a two-parter.
It is a two-parter. The second part is pretty funny, but the first part, do the Kings let Christian Fulham walk? I'm going to say no.
I'm going to also agree with you. Based off of the stat Wally gave earlier, that the giveaway per 60 is nice, but
he passes the eye test really well, man.
Oh, he passes. I mean, look at the game last night. I mean, he just stepped up completely with you know, Forward being out and Phaneuf taking that inexplicable fighting major to put us down 2 defensemen.
3 righties, 1 lefty.
So
2 righties, 1 lefty.
I never thought I'd see that day. We had 2 right-handed defensemen on the ice at the same time.
I'm going to go on record and say I dug that fight, man. I think it needed to happen. I like that he did it.
I don't think it needed to happen. I think that, you know, if Forbert weren't out for the game, yeah, sure. But I mean, you got to recognize that situation. He's a veteran. He's got to know that it's like, all right, we're already down a D-man. We can't really put our team down too.
I agree.
So,
but I
was going to say, Zach cares for fighting now.
I care for it when it's needed.
All of a sudden,
when it's needed. Phaneuf didn't start the fight. He just finished it. Well, I mean, nobody really finished it. It was more of a draw. It was more of a draw. But I mean, I dug it. I think it kind of brought some energy to the Kings after that fight. But I think they bring Christian Fulham back probably like at a year, 1.5.
You know, he's the type of guy that you like on your team, and you don't really notice on a different team. I don't think there's really a huge market for him. I think 1 year, $2 million or less is realistic, feasible, and I'd do it. Be a third pair or 7th D-man.
Here's the thing: I would absolutely offer him a contract, but if he's looking around and he's like, oh, the Kings are making a lot of these signings and making these adjustments on defense. Where do I fit? Do I fit here long term? And I think that ultimately, yeah, Kings absolutely will offer him a deal, and I don't know if he, we'll see what the market is, because there's always a market for a right shot D-man.
True.
I mean, you can plug him in there on Toronto, and he'd have a bigger role there than he would here. I think, especially with how people we have coming in the pipeline, possibly Voinov coming back. I don't know if that's going to happen, but he's getting his immigration issues worked on as we speak. So we will continue to update you once those go along. I don't know. I'm not saying he'll come back. I'm not saying he won't. So that is what it is. So that's another person in the mix to.
It's true.
I think you have to kind of look at him as like an asset, though. Like not as like a player on your team, but like someone that you could trade away.
You know what?
Even if it gets you like a conditional pick or something, anything for those rights.
Hey, if we can include him in a package to get Erik Karlsson, I'm all for that.
Sounds feasible.
I agree, though.
I agree.
Though. I mean, if he wants to leave for money, man, I'm not going to be mad.
Yeah,
at
I think
him
the Kings
will offer money, dude.
But
my only thing is, I mean, look at the contract he signed this year. The market can't have been big for him, and he's done a lot in our eyes. And people around the league, I mean, they know what's going on, but I don't think there's any huge money out there for him.
And then
I don't think there's any Christian Fulham fanboys out there except us probably talking about him right now. You know what I mean?
I do love me some Fulham, but
you want him to Fulham you up?
shit.
So stupid. A second part of Steven
Ferraccioli.
question.
A more important part.
If Jeff Rosen, God, why do I always say Rosine?
It's the E.
Yeah, the E at the end. But if Jeff Rosen is okay with it, we're actually going to start a poll or a thread for a picture pic, because if
A profile pic.
yeah, profile picture. If
An
you
avatar.
are active on the We Are Los Angeles Hockey Club Facebook page, you will know that Jeff Rosen is a big contributor on there. Always talking with everybody about everything. So he doesn't have a profile picture. I even added him on Facebook to see if it was one of those like fake,
bot?
yeah, just you know how it'll set a blank default profile picture if you're not friends with them. I was checking to see if that was the case. Nope. So we're gonna be starting that.
Incognito. I like it.
Yeah.
Guy incognito.
So I think that's pretty much it, man.
Is it?
Who are we gonna call out? Oh, who'd you want to give a shout out to though?
Oh man, the Iceman. We haven't. I don't feel like we've talked about Jeff Carter enough in
I don't
last
think so
couple of
either.
potties.
I mean, since he's been
Just-
back,
yeah,
13
shout
goals.
13 goals. Yeah, it's. I mean,
That's why I'm calling out on a positive note. 'Cause we haven't.
I
Really
like
talked-
those.
Yeah, I like positive ones.
He's
That's
so
what
big and so fast.
He is big and quick. Is what you said.
Is it? He's so big and quick.
big and quick.
and he was nice to me when I stole his pizzas. So
It's the Iceman, Richard Kuklinski.
Yeah.
No, I mean Jeff Carter. What about you, Robert? Who are you calling out?
I'll give a positive call out to Christian Folan.
Okay.
Great game last night.
Oh.
Over 20 minutes. That
He
was
did
huge.
have a great game.
I'm gonna give a call out to. We'll do a positive call out.
I like these. I prefer these.
Paul Ledoux. What did he +2 last night, and he had 16 minutes?
Yeah, 16
something
something.
like that. You
At
know,
least he's playing, man.
6-2-1, 3 righties, 3 lefties. So let's keep that rolling.
Why not? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I can't go
You
positive.
can't go negative now, though, right?
No, I can't go positive, dude.
Okay, here's my my negative call out is Dion Phaneuf, man.
Put some bass in your voice.
Dude, that
Was that
fight.
guy on steroids?
Yeah, but him. You gotta
That missed check?
Take some take some notes from Christian Folan on how to finish a check, right?
Oh.
Go, Zach.
I'm gonna call out.
Negative Nancy.
I'm gonna call out Tyler Toffoli, man. Where are thee, dude? Where
art thou?
Where
The
art
most
thou, Tyler
quietest
Toffoli?
24-goal campaign in probably the
You
history
swear
of the
he's had
league.
2 goals this year.
Yeah, dude, it feels like he's only had 2 goals this year. Streakiest goal scorer I've seen in quite some time, man. It's pretty bad. But with that being said, Blake looks like a genius. Not signing him to a 6x6 and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
What do you think it is, man? Is it you said quiet 24 goals? Is it
I told,
goals that are in unimportant times?
I told
of the game,
Zach said it's
blowout?
streaky. You know?
I told Christina, dude, that I really think he's stressed about getting married. I think he's really stressed about that. Look how stressed you are, dude.
Yeah, dude. I'm losing my hair. Not.
Oh, it's not bad, guys. As somebody who just got married fewer than 2 months ago, it's a breeze, man. Yeah, if you guys.
Maybe not for Tyler Toffoli, though.
He looks like the type that would be like, oh my god,
Yeah.
this is hard.
He's got to pick
Have
an
you ever
outfit
seen-
for the dog. I
He
mean,
does
you know?
have a yeah.
Have you ever seen his dad? His dad looks like a fat version of him. Like on the dad strip, he looks like a fat version of Tyler Toffoli. It's like looking into Tyler Toffoli's future. Same thing with Tanner Pearson, dude. His dad looks like a fat version of him, man. It's crazy. No wonder they're best friends. I bet you their dads get together and drink Molson's
Oh my god.
with the Tim Hortons.
A really cold
Oh,
Molson
are
is
you
good,
guys
though.
looking at me for the Wally's picks?
Oh, it's,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
man, yeah. Yeah.
Wild Wally's picks?
All right.
Wild Wally.
No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go complete homer here and just say Chicago wins against St. Louis, and that'll put it in tomorrow at St. Louis.
I like it. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't.
If
Really don't think it's going to happen.
Kings clinch tomorrow, we're going streaking! We're going streaking through the quad!
Yeah.
There's not a gym.
Snoop!
anywhere. Snoop-a-loop.
Snoop-a-loop!
Yeah.
Who's joining me?
Bring your green hat.
But yeah.
Oh no! Speaking of Toffoli and the color green. So I remember one time after. Okay, I saw him at a bar and he's wearing these like short green shorts,
like golf shorts,
like track shorts, like in like Eric wore in Billy Madison when he's doing that race.
Yes.
Yeah. And so it's like. I'm there with one of our group members, Christina, who you were talking to, and she goes up to him and says, "Hey, nice green shorts," and he just looks at her and says, "I'm not drunk." And
on that note, Kings fans, thanks for joining us tonight. Once again, this is Zach.
This is Dave,
Robert,
and Wally. And I got to. Don't forget, tune in next week because we'll have a breakdown all the playoff scenarios.
Playoff
previews will go. And
we'll be talking about basically every matchup. We'll be going over every matchup.
Hopefully we're in
it. I'll make my picks and
hopefully we are in it.
We'll do it. So
once again, everybody, thank you so much. Here's to the Blackhawks tomorrow.
Go Hawks.